Men become lustful through watching porn and fapping to it, and in this video I will teach you how I've managed to not beat my meat, to not watch porn for over 250 days. I used to be addicted. This is me 3 years ago, watching porn every day 3 times. So if you want to learn how, just sit down, relax, you can take some notes and let's begin. The reason why you relapse and fap every other day, every few days, even though you want to stop being so lustful and all of that, it's because of desire times free time. I could say that it is desire plus free time equals relapse, but that's not accurate. Because if your desire or free time will be 0, you will not relapse, no matter how bored you will be. Because 0 desire is no desire, so you will just not do it. And also, 0 free time is no time at all, so you will have no time to do it. In this video, I will teach you how to minimize desire while minimizing free time, so your chances of relapsing will be the lowest, meaning you will not relapse because you already have desire on the other side to not fap, right? And in this video I will teach you how to get your desire to fap to be lower, how to reduce the chances of you fapping, right? Let's begin. Desire. There are 3 main things that affect our desire to fap. So let's begin. The first thing, this is the equation of your perceived desire. How much desire do you actually have? Perceived fun that you will have through doing it, minus perceived pain that you will have through doing it. Think about it like this. If you will think that you will have a lot of fun from fapping and you will really enjoy and you will not have the pain of shame and regret afterwards, your perceived desire, your desire will be so high to the point in which you will just fap every day without stopping. But then you realize that fapping is bad for you, that it causes you to become more sexualized and all of those bad things. So your pain got higher a little bit. That's why you have stopped to fap, and you decrease the amount of time that you fap significantly. Your perceived desire got lowered, right? The more pain that you will feel from doing it, the less desire that you will have by default, because it's almost impossible to reduce the fun part. Our biological desires are designed for us to reproduce, and fapping and watching porn works exactly like that. So our brain doesn't see the difference between fapping and beating our meat to porn and reproducing, so our desire to fap is the same as our desire to reproduce, which is one of the highest form of desire that we can have. That's why we should increase the pain. And reducing the fun is almost impossible, and you don't want to reduce the fun. You don't want to stop wanting to be with women because that's a healthy desire. It becomes unhealthy when it becomes lust. And then the second thing, triggers. So triggers increases the perceived fun from fapping, not from reproducing, right? So when you see women, right, on TikTok, half naked, dancing, promoting her OnlyFans, your perceived fun from fapping gets increased because you get triggered to want to beat your meat, right? But when you see a woman in real life talk with you and you are having fun together, your perceived fun from fapping doesn't get increased, but your willingness to be with this woman will increase, and that's a healthy kind of desire. But the desire to fap is the unhealthy one, the one that comes from watching TikTok, watching Instagram, those types of things. You need to reduce your consumption of them. That's basically the way to reduce the fun part, the only way basically, because any other way to reduce the fun part will also damage your ability to actually get attracted to women, and we can't really stop desiring women because we are men and that's our biology, unless you want to reduce your testosterone and start injecting horny state. So when you get triggered and then you start to trigger yourself more, you will get into this rabbit hole and then you will get into the horny state. This horny state, you basically know what it is, right? When you are so horny that you stop to think about the pain. You just think about all of the fun that you will have when you will relapse. I know that because I've been in this state for a few times. Not a few times, but hundreds of times. And I don't go to this state. And how do you get there? You basically take the second L. After you see the women, after you get triggered and all of that, you go and you get triggered once again. And you expose yourself to more triggering stuff, and you start to go into porn, and you start watching, and you start with your mate because, you know, edging, and you fap. That's the worst thing, getting into the horny state. You should not take the second L. That's the best way to guarantee that you won't get her, because if you take one L, right, your desire gets increased, but if you will use willpower and discipline, self-control at that point, and you will direct your attention towards other place, you will not fap, most likely, right? You will think about it, you will be disciplined, you will use willpower to resist the urges, and after enough time you will forget about the trigger. But if you will take the second L, you will just relapse. I guarantee to you that. And then the time part of the equation. We have basically 15 to 16 hours per day that we direct towards things. It can be purpose, work, rest, social media trigger, or last, watching porn. And the basic premise behind the time part of the equation of this equation is that you reduce it as much as possible, because if you get to 0.4, you don't really have time to vap. You can control yourself enough, your desires enough, and your actions enough to the point in which you will not relapse. And the way to do it is to basically find purpose. So your attention can be divided to a bunch of things, right? The more you divide it, the less focus that you will have on each one of those things, because you have only 16 hours per day. It is a finite amount of time. You need to direct it into as many productive things, doesn't trigger you to relapse, as possible per day. So it can be work, purpose, gym, rest, bro. Rest is a productive activity if you don't indulge in self-sabotage during it. If you just sit down, bro, and close your eyes and start to think about things, if you meditate, these are productive things that you can do instead of wasting your time and getting brainwashed from Instagram. And you need to also not only reduce the time that you have to watch porn and fapping, you also need to minimize the amount of time that you have to see triggers like social media, TikTok, Instagram, watching anime and seeing the women like this, bro. This is a fucking trigger and you need to remove all of them, and the more busy that you will be throughout the day, the less time that you will have to fap, and then you won't fap, and that's how to beat lust. If you enjoy this video, you can like it and subscribe.